I'm just gonna go. Uh, Welcome to No Construction. Hopefully, the future site of a dial, and I'm just gonna go right into what I read on April 6th of Commissioner's Court. Number 14, Text dot advanced funding. The now Ronald Reagan Bridge over 35. How many times has the guardrail been replaced? I play a game. How long it'll take to be replaced, a damaged one. Certainly widening the bridge would be less costly at this point than replacing guardrails several times a year. Wouldn't surprise me at all if instead of making Ronald Reagan would have been better spent taking care of what we already have. 35 is still faster than taking Ronald Reagan. Number 15, variance request. That is a no-go. This would be a perfect opportunity to show the public you don't like this mass construction. Almost the entire court said they don't like it. More of these actions will increase our taxes. With tax deductions that mysteriously must be granted to construction companies will also hurt our pockets. Opportunity is knocking. Judge and commissioners highly recommend answering it. Number 19, Expo RV Park. Did I read that correctly? Almost 2 million for an RV park. How much land is that destroying? Doubt improving some roads and a bridge or two wouldn't cost that much. And I pretty much asked for an itemized list, which I doubt exists. Number 20, resolution of condemnation. There's a good chance I'm thinking of something else and have missed it. Isn't there an injunction? Was it removed? If not, how are any of you still sitting there? I've been accused by this county, therefore all who sit before me at this current point in time, of wanting laws and usurp people's rights I fought for. Yet you are still pursuing this resolution. In your private sessions, don't you sit with some kind of attorney? No. 23. Entry and possession agreement with Robinson Land Limited Partnership. Another opportunity to prove you're against this construction craze. I say again, these actions increase our taxes and paying these companies twice. Once for the work and once again for the tax breaks that mysteriously must be granted. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I did this. One would think last week would have been a wake-up call. People outside your jurisdiction came to tell you how bad you're messing up. Red going out, blue coming in. That's a whole bunch of meanings. I'll go back to that right after I finish. 8 months to show the public what you're made of. Destroy our lives with our own taxes, or are you capable of making better decisions? Alright, red going out and blue coming in. That has a few meanings. Uh, when you think of politics, it's Republican is in there right now. Most of Texas is Republican. And then, there's a lot more Democrats, which is blue. Long as lives aren't destroyed, it's regardless of what a person claims to or not be. What's the matter? These are names. It divides us. It should be all based on where this person stands, or at least claims to stand. And clearly, when I say claim to stand, politicians doing things they said they wouldn't, not doing things they said they would, is very common. Not all of them do that, and some encounter obstacles they didn't expect. But, for the most part, there's becoming more Democrats. So if people like the Republican way of life, then people like the Republican way of life, then these actions need to be stopped. You know, and then the other meaning is uh, pen to paper, huh? As soon as I put pen to paper, everything has to start. And then in the military sense, blue is friendly, red is not. And in clearing a house, you would say, whoever you entered with. Let's say you entered with three people. Three blue coming out, and say you find two bad guys. You would say three, uh, three blue, two red coming out, and it's as long as they're not extreme left, the blue can be friendly, but it just not to go deep into it, but it really seems nowadays, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you have to be full-fledged one or the other. Um, that kind of brings me into what I've encountered over the last couple of days. I've actually been going out and talking to people. The consensus is only if you're a construction worker do you like the construction, which is understandable. That's your paycheck. But at the same time, do these construction workers fully comprehend the damage and harm they're bringing? Yeah, I get it's a paycheck, but with what is being done at least in Williamson County, so I'm uh, betting Hayes, uh, Bastrop, and the others, something similar is going to happen, or is happening, because Local Code 392, that is one of those catch-all article type deals where they can take anybody's land for virtually any reason. It'll be a shorter list to tell you what reasons uh, of why they can't take someone's land, but I can't find one. I can't find one that they couldn't use 392 to take someone's land. You know, you miss a bill. I'm not saying anybody is gonna not pay their bills, have no intention of paying their bills, but you know, life gets in the way at times. You know, it. You know, a simple example would be you you have your bill. You're like, all right, put it in your bill pile, and then you go about your business. You go, all right, I have a couple days. Let me go pay it, and then an emergency happens. You know, uh, you end up in the hospital. A family member or a close friend ends up in the hospital, or maybe you just get in a wreck and you need to repair your car, so you need to go late on your payment once. You know, just life happened, and then under that they could take your land. And what really makes that scary isn't that farmland, which is the source, one way or another, of the majority of food on the planet. It's that mega farms, regardless of what you think about them, are now saying that even with all of their farming, even with all the lovely GMO stuff that yields better crops, more crops, they won't be able to keep up with demand. They're having a hard time doing that. So, to an extent, every scrap of farmland is needed. Uh, but going back to talking to people, it I fully believe this upcoming Tuesday, which is it wasn't the 6th, it was the 3rd. My bad. Uh, Learn how to count. Uh, they don't do politics. They don't discuss politics. And it's like, I'm not discussing politics. I'm trying to discuss people's well-being. I'm telling you what is being done. I'm seeing what is being done. I am there most Tuesdays since October 7th of 2017. And for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be there every single Tuesday. Man, pen to paper. And they don't do politics. Or they believe they are so safe. It's like, oh well, I'm in a dense neighborhood, I'll be fine. No. If things go the way they look like they're going, because history loves to repeat themselves, because tyrants don't like to pay attention to history, they're going to pack us either into some form of camps or best apartment buildings. I mean, the average house in the area, I would think you can fit uh, two, maybe three families if it was apartments. So in that same area, you can not only charge the same amount or more, you're fitting 2 to 3 times the people. So therefore, you're getting 2 to 3 times the amount of money. Because with 392, it's going to be, well, one, we don't have to pay for your house. We don't have to pay for your property, regardless of whether it's a fair market value. We're taking it. We're moving you here. You don't like it, go somewhere else. Which is exactly what this county has told me. You don't like what's being done, go somewhere else. Which is funny. Because when we moved here, we, in no uncertain terms, were told, you better conform to our way of life or leave. Now, I'm one of very few attempting to protect that very way of life. Alright. Again, pen to paper, since I want to do something, chaos in my dwelling ensues. So I'm going to wrap this up. It's, talking to these people, I'm trying to get them to at least talk about 392 and realize that no one's safe from it. It will be the law that a government official can just decide they want the property. There's, there's nothing that'll be able to be done. And look at these marches. These kids will eventually, oh man, allergies, huh? These kids will eventually be in political positions by default. Somebody has to fill the spot. Especially these extreme left ones. It's like, oh, there's a Republican living in this area, or Republicans. Let's take that property and houses and what have you, and they won't have it. They'll be on the street. I doubt anybody with a straight face can tell me that isn't likely. Maybe this current court, I doubt it, because they're willing to ignore injunctions. They may not abuse Code 392. The next court, whoever's there, because I think only one's staying, well, at least running. So we'll assume they're staying. Only one staying. So it's going to pretty much be a new court. Maybe the new court won't abuse it. but I have my doubts on the next. It, the fawn lies, the problems I have uh, when I go to talk to people. I feel like I'm reaching my hand out to try and save, essentially a helpless animal. I'm right in the same position as them. I'm no better, but I'm trying to reach my hand out, help this animal in danger, and it's walking back towards the danger. Like I'm so much worse than what's right behind them. And it's because Pat, I can't help but attempt to save people, uh, but it goes back to what I've said before. You know, why would I get this county out of debt when they're not putting any effort forward to do it? Okay, one last thing. Regardless of my, you know, this commissioner's court will entertain the idea to write into law something that could destroy people's lives, will destroy people's lives, and there will be no legal action against it. And I offered several times, I would say at least 4 or 5, that I can get us county uh, out of debt and in the green, and if not, a significant amount of the $1 billion. And I try to talk to that about the construction workers. It's if you're working on my house and I tell you I'm $100,000 in debt, would you have a problem picking up your tools and your equipment and walking off, regardless if I already paid you? No, you wouldn't. So when a county is over $1 billion in debt, while you're still doing the work that's destroying people's lives, destroying land, it's going to be death by taxes. Thank you for watching. Uh, I guess see you in a couple days.